Hi, I am Toyosi Ige and it is my pleasure to welcome you to Screen and Flicks with Toyosi Ige. Yes, it's airing on the Real Studios YouTube channel. Real Studios is a company that specializes in narrative film production, documentaries, and we also make wedding films and we run the Real's Film Academy. Please, if you have any inquiries, feedback, or observations, please kindly send them to our email realstudios@gmail.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are on Instagram at Real Studios and Facebook at Real Studios. One more thing before you go, please make sure you click on the subscribe button, make sure you like, and also place your comments in the comment section below this video. God bless you. Enjoy Screen and Flicks with Toyosi Ige.
Fade from black, you fade in, you see a beautiful landscape. The protagonist walks into shots in an extreme wide shot. You can't really make his figure, but you see him from afar. Next thing we see from a long shot, we see his full figure, and then we go to medium. Before finally we settle on the close-up of his face. We see his face, he has a particular stitch on it. We wonder, what is wrong with this guy? And then suddenly we see an extreme close-up of his boot as he slams it on a scorpion. He picks it up and he eats it. What is this? This is just a sample of a scene from Mad Max Fury Road. These pictures and beautiful imagery were as a result of quick thinking and creativity from the DOP, that is the director of photography, also known as the cinematographer. On this episode, we'll be discussing cinematography, the art and then the craft of using composition to interpret a screenplay. Stay tuned. Okay, today I have a very good friend here with me. Awaiting Okoyao is somebody I've worked with like 2 or 3 times now. Is somebody that has always been a joy to work with. I call him a genius because he's a master in his crafts. He's a well-renowned cinematographer and wedding filmmaker. The CEO of Igbo Media and More Brains Films, Tosin Dara. My brother,
Thank you, bro.
you're welcome. Welcome to the Screen and Flick show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sitting in
yeah,
front of the
yeah.
camera. It's kind of strange to me, like.
So how far now? Filmmaking. How did you enter into this world?
It's a very short story, but it's funny. I was supposed to study law.
Okay.
No,
You're studying law.
Yeah, I was supposed to study law. In fact, my admission was like indirectly, I was supposed to study law in university. What I told them at home is like my dad is the kind of oldest person I believe in white collar job. Hey, finish, go to science class. He's an engineer, so he believe able just go to science class, from there get a white collar job, and start living your life. But along the line, I feel like okay, I want to be a lawyer. Okay, enough. We have a neighbor. Who I think the couple there, the one is a lawyer. I mean, the husband is a lawyer. The wife is a judge. She's a judge. So you feel like okay, it's a good profession too. So they allow me okay. The only last born in the house now. You want to study law? Okay, no wahala. But along the line, when I got to school, I love watching films. Like every day, I watch films. Like I got to have a friend that along the line, both of us decide to okay, let's be writing down films that we watch per day. So it's kind of I really in a day, I watch like 2 films per day. Then I was in secondary school. I watch films like at least 2 films per day. That I even turned it to business.
Wow.
I have to start buying films and selling.
Wow.
So I started watching film. Then I discovered that man, I love film. I love filmmaking. I love the way they write story. Then I discovered okay, 3 people, which I love their crafts, like a cinematographer, a director, and a playwright. So I feel like okay, let me study them. So I started studying like people like Akim Mishola, late now. I pray I meet him, but sad.
Yeah.
Akim Mishola, I see it's kind of a very right story. And there's a day that that time the Tunde Kelani did a film. what was it? Campus Screen.
Okay. Yeah.
Campus Screen. So Campus Screen then, yeah, me, I usually buy film then, as in, no, they are buying original films, like, okay, let me watch them. So I was watching it at home, and my dad was like singing along in one of the scenes there. The song was done by what was his name? Face and South Sultan. So, and that was like, you know, my dad was singing along. I was like, in this contemporary movie, how would my dad understand? My dad, I'm out combat and kill him. So I see the infusion, how Kim Oshola tend to infuse culture into his story, making the old stories, the normal folklore, all of them, making like reality, like something that's happening at this time. Today Kalani, the director, also interpreting in his own way, and also his cinematographer too. No, I feel like interpreting it like the way the story should be. Yeah. So I studied them, then I've been watching films from Tadio Gidon to, you know, those stages, and I'm like, see the spectacle, see production, see person like producing a movie. So all of these things influenced my decision. So when I got to SS2, I was like, yeah, she learn my right. But it's going to be really hard to convince my parents that I want to study filmmaking, directing. So I tried checking all the universities, and I saw the performing arts in University of Lorraine. And part of in there, you know those old jam now, they give you broke you.
Yes.
So they broke you. I saw directing, cinematographer. I was like, hey, I want to study directing and filmmaking. So I never knew that performing arts is all encompassing, that I have to study dance, music. So it was there. I couldn't tell them. I decided to pick law as my first choice, performing arts as my second choice. And not to my parents, though they can't get to me. I actually was, I think I was admitted for law. No, I was admitted for law. But when I told somebody, hey, I don't really like law, it was just my first choice. My second choice is performing arts. I'm like, you want to leave law for performing arts? Just swap now, change of course, law to performing arts. Not like you want to change for just change it and go to performing arts. As I just changed.
Wow.
So, and I think I didn't regret choosing performing arts.
So why did you decide to become, you know, now you mentioned directing and also, why did you decide to major in cinematography?
The thing is, okay, now, the people that are like, I can call them room there, they are like, I said I have three. So they kill an Tadio Gidon and Akim Shola. Now I chose Akim Shola as screenwriter, Tadio Gidon as the producer, director. Then technically I get to see him more as a cinematographer. Now, why I chose all of them is I just like the storytelling, what they do, the distinction, the way they create their own niche. The time Tony Kilani came out, it's not like there haven't been any independent filmmaker, but he is more of that cinematographer director. So along the line, when I started studying performing arts, which we have to study every part of art, that is the dance, music, drama. And then there's something one lecturer told me then, because I was mostly like leaving performing arts because I felt like I was supposed to just study directing now. Let me just be a director, and let me just go. But the man has said that, hey guy, you want to study directing, Abi? You can't be a good director if you don't know other forms of production, which involves directing, costuming, makeup. And I was like, okay, so that means I have to learn everything to be a good director. It's not like you have to major in every part of it. Then, okay, when I now started studying directing, studying every form of production for stage and for film, then along the line, I discovered that most films in Nigeria, what limits their quality, or let me say what limits their production standard is the cinematography. A lot of directors in Nigeria don't know much about cinematography. Okay. And one thing about that's the difference between film and stage. For film, it's about the picture. It's more about the picture because it's about the picture. The stage is more about the actors. It's about the acting. They say all of them, they say acting, but it's more about the picture. It's what we see. So we tend to interpret it better and more with the pictures. So when a director doesn't know much about the cinematography, the pictures, the picture creation, it tends to affect the story. They're actually very good with actors, work with the actors, their dialogues. But along the line, when the cinematographer is not really interpreting it in his own way, they tend to depreciate. People don't really enjoy the story of the director. So I feel like, okay, let me study the cinematography. And along the line, I tend to have more interest in cinematography. I'm like, man. Then for me personally, I tend to feel like for film, don't mind me, I might be selfish, the film is more of the cinematography than the directing.
Yeah, I would disagree,
yeah.
But it's all right.
Yeah, but to me, I just feel like, because along the line, if the director, it's like, okay, I'm just saying, should you want to put on a scale of preference, okay, there's the director. Funny enough, though for some other film companies, they say artist director, okay, people can start defending in different ways. That's the only lot we don't. We have that. There's no specific book
In
like
its
say
in the most basic form,
like
director.
director. Yeah, but now let's say the director. Now that's the overall. There must be somebody that have to make decision
Yes.
like, hey, everybody can't just be a guy.
Yes.
So you have the director. Very important. But okay, let's assume that we now have artistic director and director of photography. Thank God that's why they add director to both of them.
Yeah.
Both of them are directors. Me, I will feel like for some films, okay, let me just put it that way. For some films, the director of photography will do better. Than we say director of photography, let's give the 60% power to the director of photography, 40 to the artistic director. There are some, let's say 60 to the artistic director, 40 to the director of photography. Maybe I know that I might have reasons to defend that, but because it's more, some stories are more about the pictures than the dialogue.
Yes, but you know where I would disagree a bit. You know, whether stage or screen, the essential units of every visual student to express is the story, and you need somebody that will now pick up what the writer has written and be the guide and be the visionary, detailing even the picture itself till it gets to the final product. What I mean is, yes, the DOP is one that actually is responsible for bringing out those beautiful pictures,
Yeah.
but the essential vision behind the
You
OP.
see, I don't want to convince people because I'm dabbling between the two. That's why I
Yes.
said like like you said that why directing and then cinematography. Like it just is, I do both. For now I've not majored, but most times I do my cinematography myself. What I'm just saying that is I don't really confuse anybody. See, the director is still the director because there must be a president. Whether you have ministers or minister that knows more about economics than him, you see the president. So everybody still listen to him.
I was
Chief of Armed Forces get. So, but what I'm just saying is just that I'm just giving like okay, everybody understanding the power they also have.
Yes.
That's why he's also the president. You still have to listen to
Yes.
minister for economy. You still have to listen to them and still the president. Then now like let's reason together. You get. So I'm just doing my own. Don't mind me.
But then let me now ask now, with respect to cinematography, gadgets or the operator's skill sets, which do you think is actually more important for a
The
cinematographer?
person handling it. It's more like driving a car. It's the person handling it. Just like driving a car. I watched one James Bond film. Is it Pierce Brosnan? I think no. It's Pierce Brosnan film. Yeah. Pierce Brosnan James Bond. Okay. I watched one this film. Then he's driving manual. The other guy is driving auto. I think BMW. And they're running like I can't remember that film.
Wasn't that Tomorrow Never Dies or something?
Yeah, Tomorrow Never Dies.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
So they were running like. Then that's where you get to learn better. Okay, so it's not about saying your car they run 340. Yeah, they run 340. If you know Sabi how to just do over there. So it's more about the person handling it. I do events too. And I severally I've done events like there was even one that happened that something happened along the line. I got there, I can't get another camera. My camera is 40 then. I had to use my iPhone to shoot. As in the client didn't even know I use iPhone. And I was still holding my DSLR, like still I was shooting with the DSLR, but I was actually using my iPhone. After they released the video, I had to release the video earlier than expected. I was like, wow, video, it makes sense, girl. So it's not really about, it's about, and I've seen a lot of films that, in fact, films that were in Sundance, like, what's this film? The films were also like, look, I think it was something for Sundance. I think it was shot all through with iPhone 7. So, if they can shoot a film with iPhone 7,
So it's more about the know-how.
yes.
So when you have the know-how, even if you have the expensive equipment, because since you have the know-how, you know how to manage it. Well,
But the equipment also helps
matter, yeah.
matter a lot.
Matters,
But it's
yes.
about the handler. Gets ready 8K, 9K. I can't actually set your.
Okay, so now, what separates a camera operator from a cinematographer? Because now everybody that has the same way I've seen, especially in the music video industry, people who are cinematographers especially are calling themselves directors, and then people who can operate the camera now, next thing you see on their bio on social media, cinematographer. So what separates a cameraman? Let me use the local balance here.
Not what like cameraman. Just look at a cameraman.
What separates a cameraman?
Let's see camera operator.
Okay, sorry, camera
Thank you.
operator from a cinematographer.
Now, like even it's a technical term. Cinematographer is a technical term. It's more like cinematographer. Like it shoots. It's a photographer that shoots cinema, which is moving pictures. Cinema is moving
It
pictures.
tells
Like,
the stories with those
so,
pictures.
I'm just saying like so cinematographer. But when you call it a cameraman, like it's more of how do I want to describe it? Cinematographer is all encompassing. Like sometimes they call it director of photography, cinematographer. A director of photography is different from a camera operator or a cameraman. A cinematographer is also different from, but they can work as one person. A cinematographer can also be the camera operator. It's just like in our own side there in Hollywood where we work on low budget that we don't have division of labor that are there. But like should you are working on a production where there's division of labor, where there are enough crew, there's always mostly like having a cinematographer different from or the director of photography different from. A cinematographer handles let me use that word, manage every part of the film production, the side of film production that involves lighting, the camera, the mise en scène,
Yes.
the props, the blockings. It does all of that. What the camera operator just do, that's the difference I'm talking about. What the camera operator just do is on camera and listen to the director of photography, who also interpret what the director is saying.
Yes.
So you're like, okay, which shot should I take? And the camera operator, both of them are good, but he knows better about the camera.
Yeah.
But he has to listen to the director of photography or the cinematographer.
Because I think the cinematographer is actually more story inclined.
Yeah, you know that's not the story.
So
No, the camera operator also needs to understand.
but you know
but
that-
he is
Just-
managing several people that works with the
Yes.
camera operator. So it's not about the camera operator alone. The camera operator also has somebody that is handling the lights, but the cinematographer manage all of them.
So that means that brother Sheyi Funmi that handles the camera in church. It's not necessarily a cinematographer. Just because he handles-
Not necessarily that he must be a director of
Ah,
photography.
because I've seen people saying cinematographer, bro, I know you just shoot events in church.
And even when you say the events, in fact, I've met some people like that. Sometimes just they're basically into events cinematography. That you can't call somebody doing a wedding a filmmaker. Although I have some friends that they will fight me about that.
Actually,
But it's different. No, you can't call them.
Yes.
Because filmmakers are producer, director.
That-
You can't direct something that you don't have. If you call an event coordinator a director, yeah, because they are the one that direct, that decide. But you can direct picture, which you are working as just director of photography. But you are not a filmmaker.
Actually.
So I'm just a wedding cinematographer. So I'm not a wedding filmmaker. You are not making the film now. I'm not the one that will tell the bride
But there
or
are
the
times when you
people.
can tell the bride what.
And you are just working as a director of photography. Because there are some times where director of photography do blockings on set. But it's not still the director. But he does the blocking, which the director also do the blocking. But there's the division of labor where it gets to a point where the director will be the one to do the blocking. It will be done by the cinematographer or the DOP. But that doesn't mean he's the director. So at some point when we tell a person like during events like Martin, like, oh sorry, I'm using it more on Yoruba. That don't go there, come back. But that doesn't mean you are the one directing the event.
Yeah. Okay. That said, so I think that in cinematography, there's what we call composition.
Okay.
That's the core of what we're trying to discuss in this episode. So, composition, to you as a seasoned cinematographer, what is it exactly?
Short composition is more about understanding like the mise en scène that I've talked about, like understanding every form. Short composition, how would I put it? When I talk about short composition, so understanding the screenplay. No, let's start from the play text, the screenplay, and understanding the director. Get? Because sometimes the director can override some part of the screenplay. So the short composition is after understanding their vision, what they really want to actualize, then knowing the relevant shots, the relevant angle, the mise en scène, where you put your props to balance, to make a right shot to interpret what is in the screenplay or what the director is trying to pass out to the audience.
Okay, let's use our film as an example, as Nexus.
Okay.
That's the test project we worked on together. Run me through your process as the DOP. Run me through your process from when you got the screenplay from the writer, that is me, to when we shot. So what was the process like for you? And then how did you decide on the composition for each scene and each vital moment?
I must say this, thank God, the director is here and the writer is also here, which gives, this is maybe makes my work easier long line because the director and the writer, they understand. So let me put it like that, the director, they understand what they're trying to do. Because sometimes I had to run away from a lot of film. Like they get to like bring script and like, I'm not available, I have events. Not that I don't love what you're going to pay me, I don't love the job, but I discovered that at the long run, I haven't read their script. They tend to saw me and the director fighting on set or arguing on set. Because when the director, the screenplay doesn't know what they're actually writing or what they're trying to portray. So there'll be a lot of commission. So like for the original Lexus that was done, the director already have done some own, as in some assignments, which was supposed to be done by the cinematographer. Like he has done some scenic breakdown. When I got to so it makes it easier. But still at that, we're able to like, okay, after reading, normally when I get a play text, I mean a screenplay, I tend to always first read as a prose. Let me just enjoy the story first. Let's forget about the technicalities. So I enjoy the story. Wow, I love the story. That's the first thing. I first enjoy the story. As I usually say, I enjoy watching the story, even though I'm reading it at that time. So I enjoy watching the story. Let me forget that, okay, I'm a cinematographer. I enjoy the story. Wow. Then after then, I do my second reading. Now I start reading through the actions, the dialogue, seeing the notes, seeing all the scenic breakdown. So read them, see how to interpret the story. After then I do the third, where I now start jotting. I usually prefer using the printed script so that I can actually have my barrel.
Yeah.
So then, after doing that, before asking the director, what do you really want to do? Let me first write on my own. Then I ask the director. Then the director now try to like, okay, tell me these are the things I want to actualize with this scene. So it makes it easier. So it's not like me. I'm trying to design for the director. Now I'm about the director. Okay, this is how you are looking at this side. Sometimes I might read some scenes and like feel like, okay, can we interpret it this way? And they're like, no. Do you remember in scene 1, the girl was actually going like this, and I'm like, okay, so if I had to interpret like this, that means I'll be negating the previous action. So there are a lot of times. So both of us sat down, discussed about it, and okay, reason together. Then make some little adjustment. But basically, it's about, okay, thank God the director is also the writer, so it makes it easier for us to sit down, reason it together, and look at, okay, what next to do. So we're able to do the scenic breakdown before shooting, then walk through even the sets.
But then, let me ask, what do you prefer? A hands-on director like me, or a director that's just dependent, like you just do your thing? Which do you prefer as a cinematographer?
I don't want to be selfish, but it's not right for the director to just let the cinematographer decide or through. That's why when you asked me initially that why did I jump into cinematography, it's just because of working with a lot of camera operators who are not actually cinematographer, who they don't tend to understand what the director is saying. See, like the professor that taught me in school is late now, Professor Kewale, as I enjoying it for one thing. We usually talk about, Professor, you are acting some Yoruba films that are not really good enough now. Why now? Then that day he said something, said, see, as a professional, if you are called to be a director, just go there as a director. If you are called to be an actor, go there as an actor. You are not a director. Even if you have masters in directing, you are not a director, you are an actor. Now, when somebody is called as a director, it will be bad for him to be putting some responsibility.
Yeah.
I enjoy myself at Toyosi Ige because I'm just there as a cinematographer. Do my own side. Director, when it comes to the acting, what's my business with the actors? Not director. Do I have to call the assistant director or the director aside like, okay, director. But more of the whole work as per directing is to the director. Except they are paying me double. So it's just good that, okay, you have a director that understands, and sincerely, I think it's good you just start saying now. Any director that doesn't know about cinematography shouldn't be called a director for me, because I wonder how they want to interpret the story when they don't know the shots, the composition that we're talking about, like they knowing themselves. It's not that they have to do it themselves, but they're not knowing it. Then why call them the director?
Okay. Now, because it seems that you have worked with many directors, so you have seen different directors.
Yeah.
Then, how do you use your different composition elements to convey meanings? We've talked about lighting, colors, the mise en scène, that is the visual design. We've talked about the actors' movement and camera movement itself. So, for you, how do you go about combining all these things? Okay, for instance, now, say you want to convey a scene where a character is really sad. Yes, the usual thing is to use a grim look, put her in a dark room, use shadows and all. But how do you usually, what's your own process? Do you have a particular template that you use, or you just do your work according to whatever is in the script?
Our work is wide. Filmmaking is very wide, very wide. And nowadays, I always tell people, filmmaking is more like a professional work.
Yeah.
It's not like, sorry,
It is.
it is a professional work. It's just sad that they've not started calling it is because we too are always like almost like saying like filmmaking. So part of filmmaking is like mathematics. You can say it is wrong, you can say it is right. You can say 2 plus 2 must always be 4. There are some things that should be done this way. There are some things, if you do it, there are some part of, that's why it's just sometimes, I won't say confusing, that's why the difficult part of filmmaking. There are some creative parts. There is the basic part, like there are some creative part where you can actually change, but there's some basic parts where you can't change. Now, down to my question. It involves a lot of people beyond the cinematographer. Just don't mind me, I have to start using different kind of illustrations to just, it's like a plane. It's not just about the pilot. There are a lot of people that also work to make the plane fly. Or let me say train.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of people that actually make the thing work. So it's not just about the cinematographer alone. So now, the failure of one side can affect the other. So now, like all those mise en scene, okay, now let's start from mise en scene. The element of those props, the element of actors, which is majorly what will lead us to the right composition, short composition. Now, the props, who's handling the props? There's always a props manager. Who will decide for the props manager? The production designer. Now, there are a lot of things. If all of the crew, like let me just pick some major, they are not that major, everybody's important on set. But let's say the artistic director, few of them, they don't actually understand the vision of the production. There will be clash of ideas.
Yes.
And if there's clash of, even if there's no clash of idea, it will affect the cinematographer. Because when the production designer doesn't know what's going to happen at that scene, to decide on what should be the color of the room they have to choose, the kind of props they have to be on set, no matter the dexterity of the cinematographer, like, okay, I want to actually create this mood. Now, in fact, sometimes, like nowadays, that people start using practical lights beyond the normal conventional 3-point lighting. Now, a cinematographer just can't decide on practical lights on set without involving the production designer. So no matter the mood, the mise en scene, it has to go through the production designer. So they both reason together like, okay, for this scene, I'll probably need a practical light to create the mood more. Then that means the cinematographer will have to convey the idea to the production designer to know things to put on set. So it's way beyond just the cinematographer alone working, but it's now the cinematographer working with another crew, which is basically the production manager, who also manage other people like the costumier. Because now it's seen that we're talking about the composition. Aside the director, you first explained to the cinematographer that this scene is something gonna be like this. I want to do. I want to do. I want to do. For a good director that understands every part of production, we also know that I have to involve a production designer. Then the cinematographer will not talk like, okay, for this scene, okay, this is the mood I want to create. With this kind of light I want to work on. This is the kind of lens I have to choose to get my depth of field. This kind of it's not just about the cinematographer, it's about all of them. So that means all of them to need to also understand about each other's. So it's all about all of them, not just the cinematographer alone. So they have to reason together.
Okay, cool. Now, which film did you see recently that you really that you fell in love with cinematography?
Extraction. Yeah, Extraction.
Ah, good.
Yeah, because I'm a person, I love straight take. Probably theater is affecting me a lot. Like my professor, I don't know why I just keep talking about him. And then I had a class of mine. I give Baba like. But the thing is, Baba is, I think they always say is the foremost stage director that do a lot of straight take, that there shouldn't be any point on stage where you have to cut. Every scene links to each other. So there's no time you have to be drawing curtains on stage. So as a scene is ending at this side, at the right side of stage, another one is starting at the left side of stage. So the person, the technical director, and the light is lighting up the other side, closing the lights here. So there's no point at all that anything's stopping. So those ideas is really affecting me. So I love, even in film, can't we have a straight take, like everything linking up to each other? Or we not just staying put to the level of close up, 2 shots, close up, OTS, 9. So why can't we just shoot them on the street? And that's what I enjoyed about Extraction. I get to feel more of the story. Though it's mostly good for action films, so I get to feel the cinematography in the part of their street take. I enjoyed it. It's that like professional way of director is holding the whole face and it's like, I want to punch him. They go to close up. Then the guy throws a punch. They cut to the close up of, hey, can't we do on a straight take?
Yes.
I get to feel like it's actually real. See, straight takes makes the whole film more real than the cut. So I feel like the cut and cut is more good for the drama these days. So Extraction, when I watch Extraction, I'm like, wow. Ooh. Then I guess it's clear that the director is also a stunt.
It's not my yeah.
So I have no wonder. So it always tells when you see directors that are people like into stunt or music video director, the way they tend to do their cinematography is always different. They tend to interpret the story with cinematography than that's very part of talking about the part of the cinematography taking edge. They tend to interpret the story with the cinematography than the dialogues and the acting. So Extraction for me for cinematography is
You should see this film since you love straight takes. You should see Breadman
yeah.
by Alejandro Inarritu. You have seen Breadman.
Bedman is
Deadman, I think they were just about
less of. I think the straight take is Bedman is more of the directing.
Yeah, and
So
then,
just follows it on,
there was
on
there
the
was a
director.
crazy action sequence in Atomic Blonde.
Blonde.
Very
I've
crazy.
seen
I
Atomic
think
Blonde.
about
Hey, but
10 minutes
it's
or
not
about straight action.
no.
You really? Atomic Blonde. Wow.
There are a lot of scenes that.
Yes, I think
Even the Extraction I'm talking about, there are a lot of scenes that they, but still there are a lot of straight take. But no, not every time, not every of those scenes they done a straight take. There are cuts to which was done professionally.
Is there anything that probably you would have done differently?
Any scene Extraction I would have done differently. As a cinematographer or as a screenplay? As a screenwriter, cinematographer. See, like I don't have the screenplay. Yeah, so I can't tell what it was supposed to be. So for me, I enjoyed the interpretation from the cinematographer. So I can't, since I don't have the screenplay, like the latex, I don't have it. So that I can't actually say that, okay, probably should, he has interpreted in this way, would have been better. But for me, they've excellently interpreted what they have. That means questioning what probably the screenwriter would have written before. So
Please, are you still recording? Okay, so tell me about your major cinematography influences.
people like that love the cinematography.
I know you mentioned Tuleke Kalani.
Yeah,
Who else? Yinka Edward.
Yes. See, basically, I would say I have one particular. Though I started with the likes of the Toyosi Ige, those are people that influenced my decision to studying filmmaking. I mean, filmmaking, directing, and cinematography. But nowadays, I watch any good films. I'm not very good with names, but I watch any good films. I pick from whether the cinematography I've done. Like, hey, I love the style, I love the interpretation, I love the shot, I love the movements. So I watch any good films.
I'll be showing you some still frames from some movies, and I'll be asking you to guess the movie. Okay, I'll be showing you some still frames for some movies, and I'll ask you to guess the movie. Okay, we have a record. Somebody has a record of scoring 100%. Let's see if Ibu will be able to beat that record.
Okay, still film and the title of the movie.
Just the title. You can guess the title. Just guess the title. Let's get the title.
I'll try my best.
Please.
What's this guy's film? I know the film. Why can't I remember the title? I know DiCaprio. For real. That's DiCaprio. I forget the film. I know the film.
This one is The Revenant. This is the film for which he won Best Actor Oscar.
Okay, yeah. I know DiCaprio now.
Yes.
But now, why?
So shot by Emmanuel Lubezki.
My best actor. But now.
Next.
I'm not very good with nature.
Next one, please.
This is I just finished watching one of his recent movie. Denzel Washington.
No.
No. This man I did Frost Waka.
Like Watiti.
No. I remember this scene. I'm trying to remember the name of the actor.
Actually, this is Ryan Gosling from Blade Runner 2049. This is from Blade Runner, shot by Roger Dickens. Next.
But this I like. I'm trying to remember his name.
Actually, the film had a lot of orange things, and then you find this, and then Mad Max has a similar feel, but Blade Runner is just fantastic. When it comes to cinematography, it's a fantastic film. This. I know we discussed this sometimes back.
This film.
Yes.
Shooting on Noe.
Yes.
Like all film on a great scale. I have not seen this one.
This is Roma. by Afonso Cuarón. It won the best Oscar.
Is
for
Roma on
best,
Netflix?
best foreign film. Yes,
I've
yes.
seen already, but
Yeah, that's
I don't
Roma.
know. I
Best
didn't
best
watch
foreign
it.
film Oscar. Yes, is that all? There's one. A Nigerian film, time right? Nigerian film, Nigerian film.
Try.
This one, you should know this one. You should know this one.
I know this one.
You should know this one. This one
Me
is.
too.
This is.
I was like, what was the title of this film? Oh, nice, you know. The title of the
76.
film. 76.
76 by Izojuku, yes.
Yeah,
So those are films. So we have had my good friend and brother Tosin Dara, aka Ibu, on the Screen and Flick show this time around. I'm grateful that you came around. Thank you for honoring us.
Thank you, sir.
We hope to
a
see
privilege.
more and more from you. Hope to see more content from you. And of course, we will still work together on
Yeah,
bigger and
so,
better
yeah.
projects.
Amen,
Thank you very much for
amen.
coming on the show.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a privilege.
Yes.
Thanks
So
so much,
we'll be
sir.
discussing composition and the art of using composition to tell stories from script to screen. And my guest has been Tosin Dara. See you next time on the Screen and Flicks show. I am Toyosi Ige. Take care.
My world is beautiful, and at the center are the people I love.
That girl is a star that must be allowed to shine. Do you understand me?
Of all the people I love, Uncle A0 stands out.
I beg, make I rest. Even stars get their own fault.
Mikae, ba tu himi odrononi.
Simi Meburan.
If to say Amaka no pick your call now, say you no go back.
Abegi, that thing where you don't dey smoke, don't dey turn your senses. Please,
Before you go, please make sure you click on the subscribe button, make sure you like, and also place your comments in the comment section below.